Imagine a small island nation, smaller than New York City, that stands out as the richest country in Asia and one of the wealthiest in the world. This is Singapore. With a GDP per capita higher than that of the United Kingdom, the United States, France, and other developed nations, Singapore has transformed, over 6 decades, from a colonial trading port into a vibrant financial center envied worldwide. But what is Singapore's formula for success? And with the first change in leadership in 20 years, can it continue to prosper? When Singapore became independent in 1965, its first Prime Minister, Lee Kuan Yew, and other founding leaders recognized a significant economic problem: the lack of natural resources. To develop an export-oriented economy and attract foreign capital, they needed to strengthen the country's manufacturing industry. Singapore's strategic location, with access to the Strait of Malacca, the Indian Ocean, and the South China Sea, made it a crucial shipping hub. Initially, Singapore transformed into a manufacturing base focused on labor-intensive industries to combat high unemployment. However, Lee saw manufacturing only as a stepping stone to a more developed economy. He established the fundamentals: a solid financial and legal system, a stable and largely clean government, an efficient public transport system, and world-class healthcare infrastructure. In the 1980s, Lee began laying the groundwork for what is now Singapore's biggest source of wealth: finance. Following the example of the United States and the United Kingdom, he liberalized the financial services industry with lighter regulation. This approach attracted 4,200 multinational companies to establish their regional headquarters in Singapore, drawn by a corporate tax rate of just 17%, which can go as low as 13.5% for certain activities. Lee's successor, Goh Chok Tong, continued to attract big businesses, and Singapore shifted its focus to a knowledge-based economy, valuing creativity and encouraging its entrepreneurs. With its prime location, Singapore needed to become a destination in itself. An ambitious land reclamation project initiated in the 1970s transformed the city, filling new spaces not only with offices and apartments but also with entertainment hubs that changed the city skyline. A notable example was the introduction of the F1 night race. Additionally, the government encouraged the opening of casinos, known as integrated resorts, at a time when the Chinese and Indian economies were booming. This attracted the region's wealthy elite, who not only enjoyed the casinos and nightlife but also invested their money in Singapore. As a result, the total value of assets under management in Singapore soared from $420 billion at the start of Lee Hsien Loong's tenure, Lee Kuan Yew's son, to $3.6 trillion in 2022. Despite its economic success, Singapore's leadership faces criticism for restrictions on civil liberties and the media. Under Lee Kuan Yew's governance, one of the main criticisms was the climate of fear that prevented criticism of the government. Subsequent governments have also been criticized for maintaining tight control, with protests still largely illegal. Singapore's population is becoming more diverse and vocal, and the country needs to stay competitive as other countries learn from its growth model. Additionally, climate change is an increasing threat to national security. Lawrence Wong, the new Prime Minister, inherits a country with these challenges. Raised in public housing, Wong earned praise for his leadership in the COVID-19 response and is seen as having a more common touch. Although the People's Action Party still forms the ruling government, its popularity is declining. The buildup of wealth has brought its own problems, such as rising housing prices and the cost of living. The attraction of foreign labor, essential for Singapore's growth, raises concerns among citizens about competition for quality jobs. With a rapidly aging population, Wong will need to manage discontent and guide Singapore's continued evolution into a tech hub, sustaining the city-state's hard-earned success. The story of Singapore is an example of extraordinary transformation, guided by visionary leadership and effective economic strategies. However, like any growing nation, it faces challenges that require continuous adaptation and innovation. With new leadership, Singapore seeks to maintain its status as an economic giant, adapting to the new demands of a more diverse population and an ever-changing global landscape.